Mic check. Okay. Welcome to the channel. This is Reliable Rudy. Before we go into any live trading, any analysis, you guys know I'm not a licensed financial advisor, so simply just sharing my opinion with this analysis, and we're gonna try and find some trades and maybe take some profits on a couple swing positions and uh, see where we can go from there. So let me get a couple things set up and we'll get this underway. We have 6 minutes till the open. We're just looking at DAL. I can go take a look at the futures that we have this little channel marked. We kind of meeting up with our 21 EMA. Nice volume that's come in. Nice 3 candles of increasing volume as soon as it took out the wick high. Is this going to be some sort of bull flag continuation? I would say I kind of adjusted how we have this set sort of in like that, some way, shape, or form. And we'll see if this 702 holds as support, but we are trading above it and was holding above it. And all I got here is a ascending channel, looking for maybe a potential test of the uptrend, and this ends up being some sort of a neckline break as soon as it breaks over top of this previous high. If this starts to roll over, then that is not going to be pretty for the market, in my opinion. But you never know. You got 4 minutes left. The open could change pretty much anything that goes or anything that happens. In terms of positions, FVRR was one that I was maybe thinking about a reload. I kind of like this area that it's in. It's not exactly on the tops. I'd say your pre-market price is right at this sort of neckline break that when it broke it, it gapped up, retraced all the ways down, and then we got the exhaustive move to the upside. That we had this kind of marked as like a channel. So we have outs at both of these areas actually. This is right around, we have one at 30 flat, one at 35s, and one at 50s. So to think about a reload down here, over $1 cheaper seems reasonable if it wants to continue following this uptrend. So FVRR is kind of on watch for me, and you can see getting close to that positive strength. A little bit increase of red volume right there, so that's a little bit alarming. But I like these 2 increased volume candles with the channel and kind of just resting on top of the previous highs. Is that going to be some sort of catalyst, or do we need to even pull back down to like 26s again, which has been pretty good support for the name? We have 1 day that it closes below that level. So if it needs to roll back over and then uh, it has to make some sort of channel like this, something like that, that can pull over, then maybe that's the case. So uh, always need more information. I'm looking for 3 points of contact for any solidity on any sort of uptrend. So if we go back to that 15-minute chart, and now we're 2 minutes away. So I'm just gonna kind of keep everything on watch to start. I seen some China names we're catching a bid. Some of the China names we're catching a bid, so we're gonna keep FXI. This is the China large cap ETF. We can see that we had this ascending channel and we were able to break through that downtrend, and we actually gapped up to it and held above it, and now it's gapping up over top of that. So looking at the daily for FXI, it was fresh positive break yesterday, paid the dividend. Now it's getting ready to go test up towards 29. We can maybe think about cutting the position a little bit, do like 5% trims as soon as we get to the gap fill, and then we got another gap up north towards 30 flat. And maybe we can just start respecting the levels and maybe try the reload. I'd say reload area. If it went bloody against us, we got a gap down here at 26.5, give or take, and that is what we're going to be looking for. So 1 minute until the open. So I'm going to try and get set up. For those who've been watching the live stream and are interested in maybe a Ford or an Intel, we had pretty good outs all the ways up on both of the names, and we are going to get an open here any second. So let's go look back at the NQ futures real quick and see if that's coming back in at all. Still not flat, but we are keeping this uptrend as a potential sort of play. And if this wants to follow and stay bullish, then maybe it has a chance to take out these highs. Maybe this is a retracement inside of this drop. Give or take, something like that. Now we are open. VSTM, top mover. VSTM, let's take a look at it. Nothing crazy, I think that's just updating still. Nikola gaps up. BVS. Nice U-shaped build right there. Look at the daily here. Yeah, taking out the highs. Flirting with these 350s. Alibaba 3% gaps up over top of that gap fill. PBR taking out the highs. BTI with another gap up to the top end of this sort of channel right here. If this retraces back down to like 32 halves, maybe even the gap fill at 32.25, we are going to add, looking at the NASDAQ short, catching a bid off of the open. There's the gap up. I'm sure there's some sort of downtrend like this, sort of equivalent to what the NQ was looking like. Alibaba now catching a little bit of resistance. 10-cent go-to. Man, can you believe this go-to trade that we freaking paper-handed this? Can you believe we paper-handed this right here? Unbelievable. Man, that is a tough. POW, taking out the highs on POW. Fresh positive break. Nice little consolidation channel to the upside. Let's look at FVRR. Kind of gaps below this uptrend that we have. So let's go see the 15-minute on this. Yeah, is this even worth it yet? Does it need to be set more so like this? We were keeping G-sit on watch over the last few days and still just kind of holding. Still just kind of holding that range right there. So let's look at the top losers on today. SoFi, 8.5%. Coin, 4%. Mullen, continuing its downside. Carvana, we have been trading Carvana. Yesterday, the out was right underneath this green candle, right around 23s. So we actually got stopped out and it started moving up and I'm like, dang, we could have easily sold right inside of this as we're getting ready for a negative break right there. But I mean, it ended up looking kind of the same. A lot of stuff was just making sure that we were taking profits. It was a Fed meeting, crazy day. FVRR giving up the ghost a little bit. I'd say the NQ looks like it's kind of catching some resistance temporarily. Give or take, something like that. Tesla, 2.5%, trying to turn green on the candle. Let's look at the top gainers. Nikola and VSTM. Okay, so this chart is updated. We can take a look at oil briefly. Still kind of in this downtrend right there. Is this going to be an uptrend build? Oil is green on the day. BABA back up 3%. Yeah, these China ADRs is probably going to be the go-to if BABA is continuing the run now north of 3%. Broke through that channel. That is a very good look. And actually over top of this neckline right here, it's going to have these lows. And I'm sure you got some sort of gap fill right over here. Yep, you do. Is that going to have the strength to run another 1.5% and 4%? The SQ gaps up, trying to stay green, still inside of this channel. We can go take a look at GME or GME could be trying to hold a sort of uptrend like that. Holding some levels though. Yeah, other than that, if you guys got any names that you were keeping on watch, and Alibaba's just on a tear right now. Take a look at Neo. Neo's making a run for the gap. Ford staying strong. DAL staying strong. FVRR, it's back. 28 flat, maybe. Enphase and Intel. Enphase is continuing to hold just kind of flat around this positive break. Intel trying to take out the highs. We've had outs at 50s. We're going to just try and let that one run. I think ABEV. BABA catching some resistance into that low. FXI, same story. Looks fairly identical. BTI, a little bit of a wick. MRO, nice green candle, so maybe oil is a potential play for the day. Nice little stair step. Take a look at XLE. Yeah, other than that, just kind of waiting, giving this first morning push. We can go back, take a look at Invax. Invax kind of broke that first uptrend. Staying inside of the channel. Rig, I forgot about Rig. Rig is a new position. We tried it at the end of the day. Trying to test higher right now. This candle on Rig looks pretty good. We're gonna respect 624. Fastenal. GSIT is at 8 flat. GSIT has a nice flat top here. Holding good strength. Let's see what GSIT looks like on the tape. A little spready, there's only bids on 91. Only 2 lots. Not very much volume off the open. Light volume. Let's look at the top volume gainers, see if we can find anything. Nikolai. I'll be right back, guys. I don't know, refill my coffee and go to the bathroom. Okay, we're back. So looking at top volume, maybe XPEV. AI, a lot of volume at the open, building a flat top. Broke this descending channel. We could think about AI right here. It would be higher price than what we got out, but now that we have this information, you know, this might want to try and have another leg up. Maybe, just maybe. So we're gonna keep AI on watch. Let's go ahead and put an alert right there. If that triggers, then we can think about it. Baba, decent candle, comes in a little wicky. Really high volume though. Almost 700k volume on that candle. CVNA, yeah, I would say you probably have something like that that's gonna have to fight through. Look at the daily. You can kind of see the catalyst for the wedge pattern. So this could just trade sideways for a long time before giving us any additional move. PayPal, trying to give some sort of double bottom look right there. Let's go back to FVRR and see if that's, yeah, so holding that uptrend for the time being. Is it able to hold that going forward? We're gonna find out. CXAI, nothing really there, no volume. Pow. Could have tried it off the 220 break. NQ turned green. So you having a nice little flat top right there. Looks like it could be ready to break out actually and go for the high side. Oops. What was I gonna do? I was gonna go back and look at AI. GSID is through 807. This just looks like it wants to go. Give or take something like that. Some oil names still looking strong on the 15. But, you know, there's probably some sort of downtrend meeting in right there, some sort of uptrend. So we do have a wedge pattern right here. Multiple old names are in this 1% area. GME. We can look back at rig. Rig wicking into that downtrend a little bit. We're actually just going to take a piece off of rig, just a little bit at a time. Looks strong though. We're going to hold off on rig. All we were looking for yesterday was buying this. We were watching it just trade sideways. It took out the top. Kind of what AI is doing right now, honestly. The chart setups are very similar, except for this is actually closer, looks more like a breakout. You don't have anything over here. So AI is gonna be on watch if it pulls back in to like 43 halves. This one was a pretty big gap down and a lot of volume coming into this right here. $300K volume on a 4 stock. Closer you can get to this bottom. You don't want the guy in this middle of this candle to be losing money. Let's go look at the tape on this one. MRSN. To add this one to the watch. I'm not really sure any catalyst on that one. Lunar back at a 10 flat. Building a flat top look right there. AI 6 minutes 30 seconds left on that candle. Sound Hound. I'd say that is a pretty solid uptrend right there. Clear breakout at like a 340, you could say 350 to be safe. Give or take something like that. Alibaba continues to be strong. Invax testing the top of this little downtrend that it has right here. Ford has continued to be strong. We did take a piece off in the middle of this candle, and we actually got a little bit out up there as well. Looking for 1450s. If we can get that today, we're going to take advantage of it. Rig kind of rejecting that high. I would say you probably have some sort of uptrend right here. Possibly. IIPR continuing to hold this sort of uptrend right here. Taking out the highs. GME now red on the day, continuing to reject that downtrend. TQ's kind of testing that flat top. This looks like it's going to be poised for breakout, possibly. So there's going to be names out there that are going to move if we get that breakout. AI's candles turning green. Let's go take a look back at G-sit. Wicking up towards that flat top. Yeah, this was the one that we could have tried right there. It was taking out that wick at 410. We just got it on radar a little bit late. Yeah, this one would have been a pretty good one to try it. A lot of 1% downside. Let's take a look at Carvana. Carvana showed some strength to get up to that gap. You ever take something like that? Workiva gapping down below an uptrend. Yeah, it looks like it's flirting with the tops. Looking over at the daily, you can see negative strength, but holding some levels here on Invax. We just clear it out. Definitely some sort of flat top build here. Looking for like an 825 break. If this wants to give that, we think that this could give a nice green candle to the upside. You can see the catalyst for sort of a channel. So at current price, that's a good trade. BMR, we do have a 320 alert on this, but a strong name, gaps up, fills the gap, good volume. Now can't take out those highs. And this MRSN pulled back in. Don't really like that wick, but if it pulls in a little bit more, maybe we could try it. The go-to trade. That was a beautiful trade that we had. That we paper handed Pow. Trying. Reported earnings. Reported profitable. Nice beats. Just keep an eye on Rig. Rig at 622. Let's go on the ask and start taking a piece off. And we're gonna go on the ask at 624. Maybe take a look at a COSM. No volume, but Down near this 3, someone has liked this name a lot. Looks like a short. Could be a short for a flat bottom break. Take a look at GFAI, GSIT, GSIT given the breakout. Invex. Nikola, strong. And we can maybe try this MRSN. And we're gonna put a stop under 4 for this. We got 407 halves on this MRSN, but we do have this first entry in the money working for us slightly. Can we see some buying come in to keep holding it? We're gonna add here on this 4 flat and see if this can give us anything. We're just looking for the same buyers that came in off these first 2 candles to continue trying to hold this up. All we're looking for. Was it something to do with earnings? I'm sure there's some news catalyst with this. So we got a couple fills, and let's see if this can give us any move to the upside. Not really much size off 4 flat. This could be getting ready to kind of give up the ghost. What's that 5-minute candle look like? Right at that top. Doesn't mean that we can't set some sort of double top before this wants to move further south. There's the crack of 4. Probably going to give it this sort of channel, give or take, something like that. So let's see if this can hold and we can capitalize on it. There's 405s, 408s. This is kind of what we were looking for. Let's see if we can get some further movement. AI gave the breakout, so we're on a 5-minute there, of course, but yeah, would have been nice if we just got triggered, alerted, and we could have bought in at halves. GSIT breaking out, POW breaking out, nice volume increase, earnings play, CXAI volume coming in, and we're over here at MRSN. We have a few entries, looking for it to NQ is green. We should probably go look at a little bit of news with this. What is the reasoning for this to be down? Coinbase is falling Vanessa Biotech this Thursday. Bigger losses announces. Particle holder up next trail. Trying to hold this 4 level. Got a piece out. Is this going to be able to hold the middle of this green candle? 6 minutes left here. $50 lots on 4. Is it going to be able to hold these 4s? My out is going to be this trend line, give or take. We might even need to use a 5-minute for it. We have to. ENQ almost a 0.5% in the money. So that is kind of breaking that flat top. Cava group. Oh, not even up there. We are going to be respecting this if this goes to the middle of this red candle. Wick high on this is like 4. So we'll go like 412s. And 415s if this wants to work out for us. One thing that I do like is that it's holding the bodies of these candles. Trying to catch a bid. We like the entries that we have on this, and we're gonna try and hold this and just kind of trim some levels. So 408 rejecting again, kind of building some sort of maybe bear flag look where you have a small little flag pattern that's gonna need to break out of right there. Maybe it's a wedge, I don't know. I don't like going off of the 5 minute too much. And this could be getting ready for a bear flag continuation, so we do have to be ready for that if this wants to go against us. But right at a 4 level, we have these previous highs to hold, and sitting about even on the trade right now. Not my cup of tea to trade something that's 58% down, but what I did like is just that volume, this green volume that came in off of the gap down, and we're going to see if we can ride this channel for a profitable trade. AI, man, we put the alert in, we just never got the pullback that we wanted. CVNA taking out the highs. Does pass the rules for a bear flag, so we are looking for that red candle that comes through this. We could put a stop at like 395 and just get out of it. A little bit of size at 4, so we're feeling all right for the time being. Now, if that gets taken out, then this thing could dump on us pretty quick, so we want to be careful. G-sit. And there's kind of the frown. You see that? This is gonna hold. Now, keep in mind this is a 5 minute. So the 15. That's why I don't like a 5 minute chart. GFAI, decent volume that came in there. It's just gonna be able to hold here. 401s gave up there. So really giving that bear flag continuation to the downside. If these highs cannot hold, and this is going to go against us. And we got out of it. And it's probably going to go up against us. I just didn't even want to take the chance. Not my cup of tea right here. Oh man, I could just get back in it if I wanted to. No, we're going to find something else. Decent setup, but I just don't like it. I just don't like it. Move on. Live and you learn. We can look back at rig. We have an out. We could think about reloads off of these highs right here. If we look at the daily, let's take a look at that. We're everything. There's some sort of uptrend. Kind of right in the middle ground from the resistance and the support. My out's probably going to be like a 6 flat. 607 maybe. There's something there. Premier. What do we got over here? Let's take this off. Let's take this off. Take this off. I don't think AI is coming back in. Okay. Invax is through 8. Man. Did break this downtrend. Descending channel, look. Only thing we kind of got on watch is that is this Invax trade holding above 8. It was a red candle into that 8 flat. Fairly alright volume as well to top it off. G-sit right at the kind of breakout level. Lucid, a nice sort of channel build here. We haven't traded this name very well. Gap's down, now it's filling the gap as we speak. MRSN trying to hold that level. Now looking at this setup, I think I had the right idea. Buyers holding it. Three minutes left on this candle. That channel break was legit. I never really did see why. What do they do? Healthcare. Oil has been looking pretty strong. Has a nice bull flag setup going for it, but right up to a downtrend potentially. Market looks very good. It's a nice hold of this sort of trend line channel. Next candle's open. Invex right through that. These downtrend breaks have been pretty legit. That reminds me to go check back on rig. Rig still holding right around this level. Schmidt bucket.
I was just saying, how's the market been looking? It looks like it's been pretty bullish lately.
Yeah, it's
Green as fuck.
it's been pretty good.
About $35 for my 500 I put in now.
Nice.
Happy with that.
What'd you put it into?
I got some in Foot Locker, Under Armour, and AT&T.
I don't mind that. The AT&T is I was looking at that around, what was that, a couple weeks back? It was getting a lot of volume and right around the 15 level.
It had a concern about the CEO or some bullshit, which I didn't know after I bought 10 shares, but I think it'll recover nicely because it dropped like $25.
Yeah, it's off its highs. I mean, just back in a year ago, it was up at 32, so I mean, not terrible.
I figured that. I feel Under Armour's not going anywhere, and I think it's just low right now.
I would be careful with the retail.
And no, not the biggest fan of it, but I mean, I got two retails, Foot Locker
And the big
Under
thing with
Armour.
AT&T is just kind of the debt that they have, and also just competition. So I mean, uh, crazier things have happened, Schmidt, when you're looking at high debt companies like that.
Oh yeah, AT&T is one. I don't know. It's not made me the most. Foot Locker's been pumping for me. I had Carnival. I out on that. I bought in at like, I want to say it was 12.80 something, right near that low, and then it jumped up like fucking 13% each day.
Yeah.
So I made like 20 some percent on that. I'm like, that's good enough. Not on that. But yeah, no, just curious.
Well, I would say having a little cash balance is good. Market has been extending really good, and we're approaching some decent levels. We were able to fight through one early in the week. That was on Tuesday, and it's been kind of holding that level. My next level is like another 3% on the Nasdaq. So if we get that, I would caution just sitting on a little cash. You know, that doesn't mean that it's just gonna just dump. But as long as strength is in the market, you're good. And the last time we had a flip in strength, went from weakness to strength, was January 19th. So since January 19th, the market has not gone into an area where it has lost strength. Even though it's pulled back a couple different times, it has never lost strength. The lowest it got to was 3.
Yeah, no, I've been looking at it. It looks like it's going to be doing pretty. It's doing pretty well right now. So.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
You got a good entry point, I'd say. I'm just seeing if there's anything on your radar. I don't think there's anything else that I really seen too much. Baba's doing nicely a little bit. I wouldn't buy some of that when it's in the 80s, but.
Nah, don't buy BABA.
Don't buy Baba, he says.
Go with FXI. It's a large cap ETF.
FXI?
Yeah, it's pretty similar charts, but the FXI, you can pretty much hold that for the rest of your life and not ever do anything with it.
I like it.
It's just a large cap ETF of China. So I mean, 10% or around 9% of it is BABA. Around the other 9% is the other largest holding, which is Tencent. So I mean, you're buying some quality companies, and then you get to diversify in a little bit. You pay a little bit higher of a expense ratio, but for the names you're getting and the PE and the dividend rate that you're getting, it's at a premium compared to pretty much anything else. And then the other one I would keep on watch is XLE. It's a oil ETF. Its strength is at negative 21. It was positive back on April 28th, and it gave a negative break from 85, and it's been trading basically. It's traded down since the negative break, but now it's been trading sideways and just holding these levels. The lowest it got to in strength was negative 116. But we're testing a downtrend right now, so this is why I just keep it on watch. We're actually looking for this name. If that gets under 75 or 76, give or take, I'm pretty confident it's coming down to like 73, 72. It's got the gap fill at 72.09. That is one that you can punch in long and you can just hold it for the rest of your life. And if it goes any lower, you know you're getting fair value for it.
Nice to buy that back in 2020.
Yeah, well, one thing that I have seen is, oil is underperforming. Oil is down on the year, but oil, they are buying back shares. They are increasing their dividends, and they have pretty good margins. So I would say, even if it's going to underperform for the year, to 2024 and 2025, people are going to wish they built some oil positions in this year. Mark my words on that. So even if XLE, let's say worst case scenario comes in, it has a nice flat top, probably, and then it retests it when it breaks it. So I always like these little setups right here, and that's from like 60 flat down to like 58. I'd say that's probably worst case scenario. So from 72 gap, you're looking at downside risk of about 17%. So if you average in accordingly and have majority of your size come in, if the worst case scenario happens, then you will be printing on that. You'll be getting over a 5% dividend at 60s, and you're getting dividend growth and all the companies in there. You look at ExxonMobil, which is a top holding. They have a $50 billion share repurchase program, and then Chevron is the other top holding. They have a $75 billion share repurchase program. You're getting 2 premium oil plays and then 23 other United States oil plays. I don't think you can go wrong on it.
What do you think about Warner Brothers? They're down 8% today.
Schmidt, when I'm talking to other people, stock picking is extremely hard.
Oh, I agree.
Extremely hard.
When you've had on your radar.
Warner Brothers, high debt. I don't even own Warner Brothers in my account. I own it in Sleep's account at an average of 960.
It's a nice entry.
So I mean, but I took a lot of size off of his because I need to see more quarters. I need to see them. They had a quarter where they bought back a ton of shares, and then the next quarter they issued all those shares back again, and then some. So I mean, it's a little shady. They're really high on debt. The space, I believe they'll be a top player. I like Warner Brothers for a long play, but at what price and how long does it need to work out some of these kinks? They have synergies that are set to continue going through this year, so that's a good catalyst. Uh, but I would say, is this a good time? You had a fresh positive break actually on Wednesday. Honestly, if you wanted to buy this for a swing trade, you could mark it in exactly where you're at and 1260. And I would be confident that you could potentially get a price that goes up to like 16, and if you're lucky, you can run this up to the gap fill at 1750 easily. Like this setup is actually a prime setup that I would take for like a swing trade. I'm not even kidding you. And
That's why it kind of caught my eye.
that first out is 23%, second out is 36%. So I mean, if you wanted to play it for a swing, but you're not there to see, okay, if it gave up like 1250, you have a trend line at 1150. If 1150 gives up, we're probably testing 10 again, more than likely. So it's like, okay, from where we're at, that's down 25%, give or take.
Yep. Alrighty.
But I would focus to you more ETFs, and the two ETFs that I like right now are FXI, which would have been nice a couple weeks back to get those mid 25s, so you can hold that for the rest of your life probably. Or XLE. Those are the two ETFs I like. The long-term ETFs I love are VT and VXUS. That's your world economy. If I would focus on building those positions, get good prices on those positions, and then scatter off into individual plays. Like I've dipped into it a couple times in these low 30s. Is BTI. I like BTI more than Alteria Group, but BTI could be one that you could think, punch long. If it gets a breakdown through 30, average into it into the mid 20s. You're getting fair value with that one.
Alrighty. Not bad. Yeah, I just wanted to see. I got a dentist appointment. I think you're at 10. Gotta go in there.
But I'll keep some plays on watch that I feel are really fundamentally sound companies.
Alright.
Like I know you probably remember me talking about Discover Financial, the credit card.
Yep.
That one, I cannot believe I don't have an entry on that in the mid 90s. It freaking went up to like 118. So that one is tough, but if that comes back into like mid 90s, no brainer. It is a no brainer play. Honestly, if it came down to like 105, I think it's a no brainer.
Alright, I'll keep an eye on it.
You know,
Priced out big today.
SoFi diluting trash. Don't touch it.
That's so fun. Okay. What about Neil?
Diluting trash. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
For all I know, they run up another 300%, Schmidt. But in the long run, those companies are going to get smoked. Now, SoFi, there's the news break of the financial aid coming through. Okay, if you're looking to trade something news based, go for it by all means. But I would not recommend it. I would not be surprised in the slightest if we seen SoFi back down at like 250, like half a year from now. Not even joking. You think that's a joke? It's not.
Alrighty. I'll keep an eye out for that.
I would focus on the companies that you're not going to get diluted. They have some sort of return of capital to shareholders. Now, if you're looking for one that doesn't pay dividends and has a little bit of share dilution, but the margins are pretty damn good, throw Enphase. It's a pricier stock. I own one share of it. I bought it against strength. It still is sitting at negative 11, but if this pulls back into like mid 150s, I think you can pull the trigger on Enphase, and that one could be a freaking multi-bagger. where I wouldn't be surprised if in a year or two it was trading up at like 400. But decent margins, growing every single quarter, profitable and revenue. Enphase, if they can continue that. And another high margin company that has a little bit of share dilution is FVRR. I have a small position that I've kind of been tweaking with a little bit. Dude, I forgot I'm on live stream right now, just talking to you.
You're fat. Alright, no worries. Yeah, I gotta go in anyway, so.
Alright,
I'll
Schmidt.
talk to you more later.
Alright, I'll catch you later.
Deuces.
And how about that, guys? Completely forgot I was live streaming. Let's see what we got in the chat. Nothing in the chat. Is there anyone even watching? Maybe. Well, I hope you don't take any of what I said on a phone call as financial advice. If anybody was in here listening to that. Well, that's kind of my take on some plays. That Warner Brothers was looking pretty good, wicking into a level right at a 13 flat. Man, you. Yo. Ripley, go lay down. Alright, guys. I'm going to call it for a last. I'm going to go get some food. I'm hungry. And I'll be back here for the 2 o'clock. Invax, a pretty solid looking chart. Flirting with the flat top. Kind of breaking out. Nice increased volume. If this pulled back into like 8, 10. Could be a trade here. 3 candles on a 30-minute. Pull back into 8. Levels are meeting up. And G-sit with the breakout. So those are kind of what I was seeing, and yeah, we're gonna call it out a live stream today.